So today what we're looking at is creating a Google site. The first thing you're going to want to do is get on to a Chrome browser and be logged into your @RPS30 account. You want to use your @RPS30 account because it'll be attached to all of your Google Drive and your forms, and you can connect it to your Google Classroom a little bit easier. And the first thing you're going to want to do once you get logged in is go to sites.google.com. And when you go there, it's going to load a page that looks like this. It's a slightly older page, and we're not going to use this one. We're actually going to go here where it says New Google Sites and click on that. And we're going to want to create a new website. So we're going to go down here and click Create New Site. From here, you're going to get, this is your home page. It's your very top page. And the first thing you're going to do is set your site name. I'm going to call mine Creating a Google Site, if I can spell Google. And since I'm really lazy, I'm actually going to copy that text and drop it into there. So creating a Google site is the name of my home page, and creating a Google site is also the header for my page. Alright, so now what we've done is we've made a header and we've created our site name, and if you look over here in this corner it says creating a Google site. That's actually the name of what we could consider a file for your web page, and all of your web pages, all the sub pages will be part of this main page. This is your home page, everything else is just a subset of that. Alright, so let's look at the toolbars, which is what you'll spend most of your time using on here. And the very first thing we're going to want to look at is text box. So this is how you can add text to your web page. And the first thing I'm going to want to add to my page is I'm going to talk about the insert toolbar. So insert toolbar. Now I've created a text box, and there's a few things I can do. I can change the emphasis, which is really just kind of the background color. So if I wanted to keep this like dark blue, I can also come in here and change it to like title, or all kinds of other, there's a few other options. Heading, it'll change the color and the shape depending on what you've chosen, as a bunch of other options in there, and you can kind of just play around with that until you get something that you feel looks good. I'm going to want this centered, and I think I am going to want it as a title. I can come over here and center it, and that just kind of gives a really good look. I recommend centering as much as you can, because if students are using a cell phone, a lot of times they want to be in vertical whenever they're holding it, and it makes it where the page has better scrollability on using a cell phone. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to want to insert an image. So I'm going to go over to my toolbar and click Images, go to Upload. And I've pre-prepped this little picture here, and I'm going to insert this image. And I'm going to want this image to be fairly large. And what will happen is you'll see whenever I go to expand it, it actually starts cutting off portions of my image. So once I get the width the way I want it, I'll have to go in here and kind of adjust the height until I can see my entire image. If you don't do that, you'll find you'll have a lot of difficulties with images and making them of a size that people can really see and understand. All right, so I've kind of got my flow here for my first part of my page. Insert toolbar. I've got my image here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate this, because I want to do something really, really similar under this current image. So I'm going to drag and drop it down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it Pages. Alright, copying stuff that you've already done is going to save you a lot of time when you're creating a Google site. And now I'm going to go to Images. I'm going to upload another image, and it's going to try to drag it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag it down below here. And now you can see my image is down here. It's not centered very well though, and it's not very large. So I'm going to expand it out, get it kind of where I want it, drag it back down. It's the only downside to Google Sites is dealing with images has never been very good. There we go. Center it. And now we've got 2 images and 2 text boxes. So we're doing pretty good. We'll go to layouts a little bit later. We're going to avoid buttons. I don't recommend using buttons. They're kind of like a way you can add a little button to click to go to a different web page, but you can do that using a text box and a hyperlink, which I'll go over in just a bit. Divider, really simple. You click it, it adds a little visual representation so you can see that it's kind of like a new section of a page. Really useful tool there. Next one, YouTube. So let's say I wanted to upload a YouTube video. And let's see here. We'll go here. You know what? I always like Prefontaine. There we go, Prefontaine. And I'm going to go to videos. I'm just going to add whatever there we go, Prefontaine trailer. Just something that I know I can add to my page. I'm going to go back to my site. And I'm just going to paste this URL in here. All right. And this will be kind of a placeholder because I'm going to upload this video I'm currently making onto this spot later. All right. So I've added a YouTube video. Come down here. I always like to make sure to add a text box. So I'm actually going to insert a text box. Come on. There we go. And it's really going to be how to make a Google site. But currently, we'll just keep that Prefontaine header in there. I'm going to center it again, make it a heading, come over here, emphasis. I accidentally created a copy. All right. Now we've got a YouTube video on here. Really useful to have all that information. So now we've kind of got a good first page. It really goes over how to make a Google site. But now we're going to want to kind of deep dive into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here where it says pages. We're actually going to create a new page. So if you look here, this is the only page we have. It's our home page. We're going to click here and we're actually going to say new page and we're going to name it something else. So we're going to call this one vocab. And now we have a sub page. This is another page. It's another part of our website. And in our vocab area, we're going to look at some of the other stuff that we can add. So first thing we're going to do is go over here. We got a calendar. So we'll skip that one. We'll go that one. We don't need to look at maps. Let's look at docs. So documents, I can come in here and I can actually look at my recent documents. And then right here, I've got Google Sites definitions. And what's really awesome about this is this document here, if I go to my drive and I actually look at the document, any changes I make to this document will get changed onto the web page. That means that there won't be, you don't have to work anymore at getting your vocab perfect every time. You can add as you go along. So as you see here, I've got this little bitty mistake right here. And I'm just going to remove that. And I'm actually just going to go over here. I'm going to go back to my website, my vocab page, and you can see it's already gone. So you could have multiple pages, multiple vocab pages, and you can update these definitions daily. Or you could change, but all you have to do is change one Google Doc, and you don't have to redo that work over and over again. Something that's really useful. All right, so now that I've made a vocab page, let's say I want another page. And for some reason, we've got a calendar. Sometimes I get lazy and do short names. Except for then, as you can see, it automatically named my new page Cal. So you have to be careful. Whatever you name a page will be what it makes the header, very first thing. All right. So calendar. I'm going to add a calendar, and you can choose whatever calendar you want. Actually, when you make a Google Classroom, it actually will make a calendar for you. So I could say my first hour project lead the way calendar, which doesn't have anything on it right now. But a good way for you to be able to see or update the agenda for the classroom. You could even put your agenda or your agenda for the day, and then they could write it in their notebook. Really great way of making sure that kids who were sick could also update their planners. So that's a really useful one. We're going to go back to the home page. So I'm going to go to pages, and now I can come over here and I can click on one of these and I can edit whatever page I want. So you're never done. You can always update them. I'm actually going to insert slides. I use this one a lot, and it'll go through slides that you have. So I can come over here, and this one's one I've used before. What do engineers do? You can add that, and the kids can go through the slides, one at a time. They can play them and see them. So it's really nice way to get that information out. And unlike a Google Classroom, your Google site will always stay that way. You don't have to redo it for every class or redo it every year. This site will be here every year, and on my Google Classroom, I can just pop the URL for the web page up there, and I don't have to reinvent the wheel every single year. All right, so we've done slides. You can also do this with sheets or forms. So let's say that I really wanted to quiz the kids on the vocab that I made. So I can go to my vocab page, and I can come over here and insert a form, and it'll list up my most recent forms. This one's on making a Google site. It'll actually load it in here. The only thing you need to be careful about is this is not tied to your Google Classroom when you do this. So if you do it this way, make sure that you have it where the kids put their first and last name and their hour or the subject, or some way that you know who they are and what hour they are, because it won't have that connection to Google Classroom. So once you've used all of these, the next thing you'd want to look at is the theme, how you're going to theme your page. So you can come over here to themes, and you can actually choose a few of them. I like to make a page first and then go through the themes. So like, let's say I like this theme, but I don't like the color. I can actually come in here and pick the good old Oakdale purple. There we go. And now I have a page. So I have a website. It's got my information on there. I've got vocab. I've got a calendar. Lots of go-to information for the kids. And like, I don't have a book for my class. So a lot of my information is on here. The only other thing that you would ever want to do is you may want to add some hyperlinks to other pages. So for that, what you would use is you can come up here, add a text box, and come over here, and I can make one Coach Clark's CC page. There we go, for the English teachers. And I can highlight this, click here, and insert a hyperlink. And it'll actually give you hyperlinks to pages that you have already made, but I don't want one of those. I'm going to actually go here. This is my cross-country web page. There's my URL. I'm going to copy that, paste it into the link spot, and apply. Press enter, and then I can have one that is Coach Clark's PLTW page. Come in here, click insert hyperlink, go back to my page, which I've got hidden down here. Control C, and copy that down and paste that in as well, and apply it. So now I've got two pages that you can actually go and look at. They're two hyperlinks. Once you get your page the way you want it and the way you like it, you can actually click publish. And what this will do is it'll give it a web address. So in this case, since we're using our school one, you can actually name it what you want. So we're going to try creating a Google site, which is a really long name. And it's going to check and see if that exists. Name contains forbidden or reserved words, like the word Google. So we'll just say creating a site. It says it's good to go, and I can click publish. All right, so now that I've clicked publish, it takes a little bit, but once you've published it, you can actually come over here and where it says copy a published site link, I can click that and actually get the link for my page, or I can click preview. So if I click preview, it'll actually show me what my page looks like, which this isn't the prettiest, but I can fix the format later. It'll also give me all, a view of what the kids will get, and I can come down here and I can preview it as if I was on a phone, if I was scrolling, or a tablet, or a laptop. So it lets you see what people would see even if you don't have that device. My favorite option is right here, copy published link. This will actually give you the link to your web page. And as you can see, that's a really long link. So I'm going to go to another website called tinyurl. And I can enter my long URL. And then I can type what I want it to be. So I'm going to say this is Oakdale G sites. And hopefully that's not taken. So I'm going to click make tiny URL. It was created, it was available. So now my URL is https:/tinyurl.com/oakdalegsites, and that's going to be the site that you guys use to get to my web page, which now you can see is right here. And I hope all this kind of helps you out in your daily classroom life. It's definitely helped me out a lot.